Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tamim bil khair. Lesson number 18. In this lesson, inshallah, we will learn about the dual nouns, which is called al-muthanna, and the word or al-ism, which is kam, that means how many, and it is called kam al-istifhamiya. Al-istifhamiya, that means it is used to ask a question. Now, after kam, we can see here in this example, the noun is mansub, it is singular and indefinite. Kam kitaban indaka. So after kam, three things will happen, as we can see over here. Number one, the noun after kam will be mansub. So kitaban. Number two, it will be singular. And number three, it will be indefinite. However, in English, if you look at the translation, it says, how many books do you have? But in Arabic, we have only kam, and after that, we have a singular noun. So, inshallah, we will focus on al-muthanna and on kam today. Al-adadu, the number, we have learned about the al-adad, or about the number. So al-mufrad, as we know, is singular, which is the default. Al-jam'u, we have learned that there are two types of the plural. Al-jam'u salimu, sound plural, which comes on the pattern of una. And for the feminine, it comes on the pattern of atun. And al-jam'u al-mukassaru, the broken plural, and it follows different patterns. And inshallah, today we will focus on al-muthanna, which is the dual. Now let's see how to make dual or al-muthanna. It's very simple. What happens basically, the dual form of the masculine and the feminine is formed by adding alif. So for example, we have Muslimun. So what we do, we add alif, as we can see over here, and noon. So first, we add fatha. So Muslimun, but here what we do, we change tanween into fatha. So it becomes here muslima. Then after that, what we do, we add alif. So it becomes muslima. And then after that, what we do, we add noon with kasra. So it becomes muslimani. So muslimun, muslimani, and the plural is muslimuna. And the same rule for the feminine, it will be muslimatun, and then the ta will change only fatha. After that, we will add alif and then noon with kasra, so it becomes muslimatani, and the plural is muslimatun. So muslimun, muslimani, muslimuna, muslimatun, muslimatani, and muslimatun. So the dual also goes by the sound. What is the sound? Ani, tani, ani, tani. For example, qalamun, for the masculine, it will be qalamani, kitabun, kitabani. And for the feminine, kalimatun, kalimatani, jannatun, jannatani. So the two sounds that we need to know, ani and tani, and they will always be the same. They will never change. So ani and tani. So please remember that we are learning the marfu form, the form that is marfu. The mansub and majroor, as we know that the noun has three forms, marfu, mansub, and majroor. Here we are focusing only on the noun that is marfu'un. So qalamani, kitabani, kalimatani, and jannatani. So the sounds that we need to remember are two sounds, ani and tani. Here, so when we talk about the demonstrative pronouns, asma'ul ishara lil qarib, we have learned hadha and hadhihi and haula'i. And today we will learn about the dual. So the dual for hadha is hadani. You go by the sound ani, so it becomes hadani. And for the feminine, hadhihi, it becomes hatani. So hadani and hatani. For example, hadani talibani mujtahidani. So you see the sound ani, ani, ani. These two students are hardworking. So why do we say two students? Because ani is the sound for two. And when we talk about the feminine, we say hatani at-talibatani mujtahidatani. These two feminine students are hardworking. So ani, ani, and tani, tani. The detached pronouns also, we will learn about the dual. we have already learned about the singular and the plural. For example, huwa, hum, hiya, hunna, anta, antum, anti, antuna, ana, and nahnu. And today, inshallah, we will see that for the third person, for the ghaib, the dual of huwa is huma. And for the feminine, it's the same, huma. So how do we know that huma is being used for the feminine or for the masculine? Of course, from the context or from the person that you are talking to. If there are two ladies, that means we are saying we are using huma for two ladies. And if there are two gents, then we will say huma, we are using it for two gents. So it depends on the context that we need to learn. And inshallah, similarly for the dual, for the second person, anta, antuma, antum, and anti, antuma, antunna, ana, and nahnu. So for the dual, it is also the same, antuma and antuma. So alhamdulillah, today our chart for the demonstrative pronouns and our table, I should say, and also for the detached pronoun is complete now. Now it's up to you to memorize it, and also it's up to you to practice it. Ad-darsu al-thamin ashara, lesson number 18. Al-mudarrisu, the teacher. Kam akhan laka ya Muhammadu? How many brothers do you have, O Muhammad? So once again, we need to know how many things we need to know about kam. 3 things we need to know. Number 1, the noun after kam is mansub. Okay, that's fulfilled, first condition. The second one is it should be singular. So akhan is singular. And the third condition is it should be indefinite. And we know that akhan is indefinite. So after kam, the noun will be mansub. It will be indefinite, nakira, sorry, and then it will be also singular. So how many brothers do you have, O Muhammad? However, in English, the translation will be different. But in Arabic, as we have seen, the noun will be only singular. Li akhun wahidun. Muhammad says, Li akhun wahidun. I have one brother. Even if he says, Li akhun, the meaning is clear. I have a brother. But akhun is mawsuf, and then wahidun will be the sifa. So this is noun adjective, and also it's used for the purpose of emphasis that I have only one brother. And we know that whenever jar majroor or the preposition and the prepositional phrase, whenever it comes in the beginning of the sentence, it cannot be subject, it will be predicate. And generally, when prepositional phrase comes in the beginning of the sentence, then the subject is generally common noun. It is indefinite. It is nakira. So akhun is nakira. So two things you need to remember. Whenever prepositional phrase comes in the beginning of the sentence, it will always be a predicate. That's number 1. And number 2, the subject generally will be an indefinite noun. It will be nakira, as we can see over here. Li akhun wahidun. I have one brother. Al-mudarrisu, the teacher. Wakam ukhtan laka. And how many sisters do you have? Again, the same idea. After kam, the noun is mansub. It is indefinite and it is singular. How many sisters do you have? Muhammadun li ukhtani. I have 2 sisters. What is the status of ukhtani? Is it mansub or is it marfu or is it majroor? Ukhtani. Yes, please. Who remembers the status of ukhtani? Marfu. Excellent. Because we have learned today that ani is marfu. Perfect. Ani is marfu. Okay, in this sentence, where is subject and where is predicate? Where is the subject and where is predicate? Ukhtani is the subject and li is the predicate. Okay. Now the subject, is it definite or indefinite? Is it marifa or nakira? It is nakira. Ukhtani is nakira noun, okay? And why it is nakira? Because we have learned indefinite, yes. We have learned that whenever jar majroor comes in the beginning of the sentence, then generally the noun that comes after that, even if it is subject, it will be indefinite. We have learned earlier that that subject is definite, right? But now there is a possibility over here that the subject can be indefinite, but then there has to be a condition, and the condition is when the khabar is jar majroor and it comes in the beginning of the sentence. Kam ajalatan lid-darrajati ya Hamidu. Ajalatan is used for the wheels. So kam ajalatan lid-darrajati ya Hamidu. How many wheels are there in a bicycle, O Hamid? Now again, after kam, the noun is singular, it is mansub, and it is indefinite. Lid-darrajati ya Hamidu. Now we have learned that inda is used for things. Yes, inda is used for things. Okay. And for the possession, and li is used for the relationships, and li is used for the body parts. Now also please remember that something that has windows or something that has wheels, for that we also use the preposition li. So kam ajlatan lid-darrajati ya Hamidu. How many wheels are there in a bicycle? Laha ajalatani. It has two wheels. Laha ajalatani. So we know that ha refers to the bicycle, and ajalatani, ani and tani, two sounds. Now you can remember two sounds. Ani is for the masculine dual, and tani is for the feminine dual. So laha ajalatani, it has two wheels. All right. Then the teacher says, Al-Mudarrisu, kam Eidan fi sanati ya Zakaria. How many Eids or how many festivals are there in a year? So the same idea. After kam, the noun is mansub, it is singular and indefinite. Fi sanati is jar majroor, ya is harfun nida, and Zakaria is someone who is being called. So munada. So we have kam Eidan fi sanati ya Zakaria. How many Eids are there in a year? Zakaria fi sanati Eidani. There are two Eids, or there are two festivals in a year. Huma, now we can see that Huma is used for the dual, and it refers to Eidani. Huma Eid al-Fitri wa Eid al-Adha. So Zakaria says there are two Eids in a year. They are Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher, Ya Ibrahimu, Abuka tajirun kabirun. Abuka is mudaf mudaf ilayh, and tajirun kabirun is masuf wa sifa. Similarly, abuka will be subject and tajirun kabirun will be the predicate. So, ya Ibrahimu, abuka tajirun kabirun. O Ibrahim, your father is a big merchant. Kam sayyaratan indahu. How many cars does he have? Kam sayyaratan indahu. How many cars does he have? Now, you might have noticed that when a noun ends with ta marbuta, then alif is not added. But when a noun ends with without ta marbuta, then when the noun is mansub, an extra alif is added. For example, we can see here, kam akhan laka. So an alif is added. Basically, it was akhun, right? It was akhun. But when it is mansub, we know that one extra alif is added. But when the noun ends with ta marbuta, then no extra alif will be added to that, as we can see over here. Ya Ibrahimu, abuka tajirun kabirun, kam sayyaratan indahu. And the teacher says, Oh Ibrahim, your father is a big merchant. How many cars does he have? Ibrahimu, indahu sayyaratani kabiratani wa sayyaratani saghiratani. So now, tani tani is the sound for the dual, for the feminine. Tani tani, right? So sayyaratani kabiratani. So two big cars, wa sayyaratani saghiratani, and two small cars. So Ibrahim says he has two big cars and he has two small cars. Now we know that indahu is dharf plus mudaf ilayh. Inda, as we know, is dharf, and the attached pronoun hu is mudaf ilayh. So I have told you already that jar majroor and dharf and mudaf ilayh, they cannot be subject. They will always be predicate. So indahu is predicate, and sayyaratani is the subject. Sayyaratani kabiratani wa sayyaratani saghiratani. Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher, kam nafidatan fi ghurfatika ya Ismailu. How many windows are there in your room, O Ismail? So again, after kam, we can see that the noun is mansub. It is singular and it is indefinite. Kam nafidatan fi ghurfatika ya Ismailu. How many windows are there in your room, O Ismail? Ismailu fiha nafidatani. It has two windows. fiha nafidatani. Again, nafidatun, one window, and then when you make the dual, it will be the sound of tani. Nafida tani, jannah tani, kalima tani. So now we can see here that there are two windows. Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher, liman hadani daftarani. Now we can see here liman is jar majroor, and hadani is the dual of what? Hada, and the dual of hada is hadani. Hadani is ishara, and adaftarani is musharun alayh or al-badal. So liman hadani daftarani, who are these two notebooks for? Aliyun, Ali says, huma li. So huma refers to what? It refers to the notebooks, the two notebooks. So Ali says, huma li, they both are mine. Generally in English, we don't say they both. That's why we have in the brackets. So we say they are mine. But in Arabic, as we know that we have the dual, and we know that in English, there is no dual. We have singular and we have plural. For example, we say one notebook and two notebooks. But in Arabic, we have daftarun, wa daftarani, wa dafatiru. Similarly, kitabun, kitabani, wa kutubun, and so on and so forth. So now, inshallah, whenever you look at a noun, you have to do at least two things. Number one, you have to make dual, and number two, you have to make the plural, as we have done over here. So, for example, daftarun, daftarani, dafatiru. Aliyun, huma li, they both are mine. Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher, liman hatanil mistaratani. So mistaratun is feminine. That's why for the feminine, the ishara that has been used is what? Hatani. And it is for what? For singular or dual? Hatani is for dual. So liman hatani al mistaratani, who are these two rulers for? Yeah, dual rulers that are used to draw lines. So the teacher says, who are these two rulers for? Yunusu, as it's the name of the Prophet, so it will be mamnuun min as-sarf. Huma li, they both are mine. Huma li, they both are mine. Again, we can see that huma refers to al-mistaratani, and we know that huma is used for the dual masculine, and also it is used for the dual feminine. Now it depends on the context. For example, here Ali says huma li, so and Ali is talking about the notebooks. And here Al-Mudarris and Yunus says huma li, and here Yunus is referring to the two rulers. So as we have discussed in the beginning of the lesson, that inshallah from the context we will be able to see whether huma is used for the masculine dual or for the feminine dual. So alhamdulillah, our lesson is complete today. And the reason why we didn't do the exercises is that because we have some new concepts. So I want you to first please practice as much as you can for the dual. We have learned the dual for the noun, for the singular feminine, and for the singular masculine. And similarly, we have learned the dual for asma al-ishara lil-qarib. For hada, it is hadani, and for hadihi, it is hatani. Now, inshallah, it's up to you to practice. And when we meet again, we will do the exercises. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.